So here we are. We are back for another 2021 review. Well, not another. It's actually the first one. I'm sure people probably expected that already because I haven't done any of these yet. But anyways, so first 2021 review, we're going to keep doing these as the playoffs move along. First off, we're going to do the teams that missed the playoffs. Then we're going to do the teams that lost in round 1. Then we'll do the teams that lost in round 2, round 3, finals, etc. So if you're a team that won the Stanley Cup, well, you might have to wait a little bit for your team to come. But at the time of recording, we don't know who the winner of the Stanley Cup is right now. So we'll see. But first off, if you're new to the channel, please go down below and make sure to subscribe. Now, I know Anaheim Ducks fans are going to come over here and raid this video. Thank you for coming over, Ducks fans. I really do appreciate it. There's no special guests for this one. It's just me on my lonesome because I know absolutely zero Anaheim Ducks fans who have a YouTube channel. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the review of a 2020-21 season, which involved some pain and some good moments. So first off, let's get into the record of the Ducks. They played 56. I'm too far away. It looks like 58. 17 wins, 30 losses, and 9 overtimes for 43 points. They had a .384 winning percentage. They had 126 goals for, 179 goals against, and a -3 difference. They were 6-18-4 and 4 at home, and they were 11-12-5 on the road. So they did better on the road than they did at home, which, looking at Ducks history, that does seem fairly accurate, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like the biggest problem with this team was they just couldn't score. There were some games where they just would get shut out. I think they got shut out like back-to-back a couple times. Not just once, a couple times. And yeah, that's the really tough thing with this team. They haven't really found a scoring touch exactly. Well, they did towards the end of the season, but they were struggling to do so, I want to say around the middle half when they were losing like, 8 or 9 games out of 10. It was getting pretty brutal for the Ducks. So, .384 winning percentage, that will definitely go up in the future with the prospects that they have. And yeah, altogether, it's just another thing of a rebuilding season. Their skating leaders were Maxim Comtois was the first leader with 16 goals, 17 assists for 33 points. He was very solid for the Ducks. There was points where I was watching him play the Coyotes, and he was just scoring goals. He's one of those underrated players, and he's definitely gonna be something in the future. Ricard Raquel, who there was some talk of him leaving, Anaheim. 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. He's really lost his scoring touch. I remember back in the day, he used to be a great goal scorer. Now he's kind of lost it. So, we'll see where that goes next season and if they decide to keep him around or not. Cam Fowler was the next leader. Very solid, underrated defenseman. Of course, he's playing defense, so he's not going to get a million points. 5 goals, 18 assists for 23 points. Very solid season from him. As a defender, he's played pretty well, and I would expect him to come back next season. Adam Henrique, who probably will be left exposed by the Seattle Kraken in the expansion draft. 12 goals, 9 assists for 21 points. He's not who he was with the Devils, and he's not who he was with Anaheim earlier in his career. I think Henrique is one of those players who's kind of lost his ways and could fall off in the future. I think he's already fallen off, but he could very well get, dealt away somehow in the future. Or they might find a way to trade him. Who knows? But, we'll figure that out. Next up was forward Troy Terry with 7 goals, 13 assists for 20 points. Terry's another one of those underrated guys. Probably not a top 6 forward. More than likely a bottom 6 guy. But I think if you're Terry, you're going to look at that and be like, yeah, I had a pretty good season, being 5th in team scoring. And you're going to think, I think he's an RFA this season. You're going to look at that and be like, I might not get offered too much, but you know what? Maybe. The rookies, I thought I put them in different columns because that has some very notable names on them. Trevor Zegras, 3 goals, 10 assists for 13 points. He's going to be something. For a while there, he couldn't score goals. It took him a while to score his first NHL goal, but he was getting opportunities, getting shots on net, making the right passes. He had a couple assists in the beginning of the season, but 13 points, I said it before, not a Calder caliber player, but definitely a good player, and he will definitely be something next season because he'll be playing the full season. Forward Alexander Volkov. I feel like Volkov was a very smart trade the Ducks made. One of the smartest trades. I love Volkov, and I loved him when he played in Tampa, and the Ducks just kept bringing people in that I like. They brought in Comtois. They have Raquel. They have Henrique. Who else did they bring in? They brought in Derek Grant, Kevin Shattenkirk. They made me like the Ducks more. So Volkov bringing that to them, that makes me like them even more. 7 goals, 6 assists for 13 points. Now, I got to say, some of those points were with Tampa, so they're not all with the Ducks, but nonetheless, he played great. I thought he played well, getting the opportunities, getting the shots on net, making the right passes. Like Trevor Zegras, he just got to find that scoring touch, and I think that, it's another example in how Tampa just is amazing, and they're just kind of like a powerhouse of a team. Jamie Drysdale was the next rookie, and I think he's the only rookie I have on here. 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points. He's a defenseman, mind you. The offense will be a bit lower, but I think Drysdale played pretty well with the games that he had as well. And yeah, I look at all those guys and I say to myself, well, they're definitely going to have some great opportunities next season. Like Drysdale will be playing top 4. Zegras probably top 6. Volkov probably top 6 as well. This is a team that doesn't have a ton of depth, so the players that are really good are definitely going to rise to the occasion and make an impact immediately. And we'll talk about these guys before we get into the goaltenders, or not the goalies, the future. This is the goalies. Yeah, that was horrible wording. John Gibson was the most played Duck, 35 games played, 9, 19, and 7, with a 2.98 goals against average and a 903 save percentage. See, the fact that Gibson had 19 losses and 7 overtimes and only 9 wins, and to have a below 3 goals against average, although it's 2.98, it's basically 3, but technically he's below that, and to have a good above 900 save percentage is great. And that shows how good of an underrated goalie that John Gibson is. You got Ryan Miller, who played his final season. My respect for Ryan Miller's through the roof. I love that man very much. 14 games played, he's 4-8-2 with a 3.51 goals against average and a .882 save percentage. He played well in the games that he played, but of course with the rebuilding Ducks, he wasn't the best. And then Anthony Stolarz. I put him in here as well because he was the third goalie. One of those guys I was extremely proud of. He had a shutout. I think it was the most saved shutout in Ducks history. You love to see it. I love Anthony Stolarz. When he played in Philly, I was a big fan of him. And I mean, yeah. 7 games played, 4 goals, 7 games played, 4 wins, 3 losses, and 0 overtimes. 2.20 goals against average and a .926 save percentage. He's not a forward. And mind you, he did play less than 10 games, so that's why his save percentage and his goals against average are pretty good, but I figured I'd put those in there as well since I did for the other people. But yeah, that's basically the season for the Ducks, all their statistics. They struggled against a lot of teams. They were beating the Blues a couple times. They beat the Coyotes, I think, twice only. They lose to the Sharks a lot. They got blown out by the Wild and the Avalanche. Yeah, honestly, it's just tough for Anaheim. But you know what? They're heading towards a bright future, and I think that next season you're going to see something big. So speaking of which, let's get into the future. So you're under 25 for the Anaheim Ducks. I went through every single player, but I'm just going to go down the list to see people who are important. Danton Heinen, who is 25. Troy Terry, who's 23. Isaac Lundestrom, I wanted to discuss him too. He was great this season at 21. Max Jones, Max Comtois, Volkov, Hayden Fleury, who they also traded for. Larson, Milano, Peralt, Zegras, Tracy, Badini, Drysdale, Goulet, and I think that's all the ones who are worth it. So, yeah, pretty young team. There isn't a lot of players in there who you would say, oh yeah, they're they're young, but they're not very good. There isn't a lot of those. Most of these guys are pretty underrated players, and I think they're going to be, big guys on this team in the very near future. So I'm pretty excited to see what the Ducks are going to do with their roster. They have some decisions to make. But anyways, let's get into the UFAs and the RFAs. This part was short and sweet. The UFAs and RFAs for the Anaheim Ducks. We'll go through UFAs first. Ryan Getzlaf, David Backes, Andrew Walensky, Ryan Miller, and Carter Rowney. We'll go through UFAs first, see if I want them to come back or not. Ryan Getzlaf. That's a tough one with me. I heard some people were like, oh, he's going to Seattle. And I also heard some people saying, like, no, he's done, going to free agency. I wouldn't be surprised if Anaheim brings him back for another year, to be entirely honest with you. Just for another year. He's not far off of 1,000 points, too, by the way. I think he's like 20 away, so like another season worth. And, he's a good leader, although he's not the Getzlaf we all knew before, where he was putting up ridiculous amounts of points. No, that's not. That Getzlaf is gone, dead, in the dust. This is the Getzlaf who's the leader. Not really the point producer, just the leader. David Backes, we already know he's probably going to retire. Or no, he is going to retire. I can confirm that. Had a great career with the Bruins, the Blues, the Ducks. I think that's the only teams he played for. Let me know if I'm wrong. Andy Walensky, I'll leave that up to Ducks fans. I really didn't see him play that much. Ryan Miller retiring, obviously, so he's not going to get re-signed. Maybe in the organization, though. They could bring him back as a goaltender coach. Who knows? And then Carter Rowney. I think you can maybe bring Carter Rowney back. That's definitely possible. RFAs. You got some big names in here. Danton Heinen, Isaac Lundestrom, Max Jones, Sam Steele, Max Comtois, and Alexander Volkov. Danton Heinen, I don't think so. Maybe they'll offer him a deal, but I think they'll probably trade him away for someone else because he is an RFA. Isaac Lundestrom, I think you definitely re-sign him. He was great this season, and you obviously want to give him a contract as maybe even a depth player. Max Jones, he had kind of an off year, but I think they'll still offer him a contract. Sam Steele will get a good deal. Comtois, I think he might get probably like $4 million. To be entirely honest, he's been pretty good for them. And then Alexander Volkov as well, who I think was a very notable player for the Ducks this season. I think, if you re-sign him, you're going to have a solid guy in your top or even bottom six, too. He'll be solid in the bottom six as well. So that leaves Seattle. And I wanted to throw this in here as a tidbit for the end of the episode before we move on to Arizona next episode. Ryan Getzlaf, Josh Manson, and Anthony Stolarz are the three people who I think could go to Seattle from each position. Ryan Getzlaf being the one who, he's on an expiring contract, and it's possible. I doubt it. Josh Manson as well. I think he's a solid defenseman. They might replace Manson with Fowler for that exposing spot, but I don't know, to be honest. I'll let you guys decide with that. And then I have Anthony Stolarz there because I think he is the best goalie for the Ducks that isn't going to be protected. So, and I mean, Miller's gone. Can they leave Miller unprotected if he's maybe? I don't know, but I think that Stolarz, if they pick up Stolarz, the Kraken do. That's actually not a bad pick. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Anaheim Ducks in the comments below. I try to keep this nice and quick as possible. But yeah, thank y'all for watching and for all your support. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And hey, tomorrow we have another prospect preview. I gotta figure out what I'm doing Friday. But next week is Arizona Coyotes. I'll be having a special guest come on for that. But yeah, thank y'all for watching, for all your support, and I will see you guys in the next video.